Good morning. It's almost 10 o'clock UTC here on Monday, the 27th of January. So, doing a market update as well as for Bitcoin. Big things that stick out. We have new home sales coming 30 minutes after the market opens. So, watch. There's going to be a lot of volatility this week. That's at least the expectation. And the FOMC statement and interest rate decision are on Wednesday. GDP data, Q4, PCE. So it's going to be a wild, volatile week. And we have the major development with DeepSeek AI, the Chinese startup that is beating several ChatGPT benchmarks and supposedly doing with a $6 million budget. So there's a lot of routing going on in the market as people are unwinding stuff pretty aggressively. Looking at Bitcoin long short ratio specifically, yeah, we do have a lot of aggressive longing as we started breaking down. Bitcoin has dumped very aggressively, so we are back at vast majority long. This is not great. We definitely want to see some types of reversal, and there's a lot to do, but we have broken structure and the retail is trying to long. On the liquidity and liquidation side, yes, we're breaking that 100K liquidity. There's stuff below us, definitely down towards 95. Heck, all the way down even to 90K. However, underneath about 92, it starts to get really thin in the local liquidity, which might be our saving grace here to actually hold structure. Because losing anything at 90K basically forces a flush all the way into the 80s, potentially into the 70s. But again, this is the local breakdown. This is not a major structural event because we haven't lost the lows that we put in on the 13th. If we lose those lows, then we have a macro downtrending market. This is just a local downtrending market. On the funding rate side, we are at negative funding rates. Obviously, the long order book is getting wiped out really aggressively, so this is good for potential longs or incentivizing them. Again, there's no evidence of us reversing yet, so just keep that in mind. We are still definitely a majority down with an outlier like BitMEX still saying, yeah, bearish funding, keep pushing it down. So pretty wild. On the liquidity heat map, or what is it? Liquidity order book heat map. We do have some good orders stepping in here locally. I'm actually looking for a bounce here as above us it's quite thin. If we do have the loss of this 97.7K low, I would expect us to continue grinding in towards the major plunge protection down here at 91K. So we have thousands of Bitcoin stacked here. That's aggressively going to be held in my mind. Then the local stuff doesn't look too bad on the lower time frames. We have a lot of stuff stepping in below us to hold this level. And there's a lot of underside retesting we need to do above us. So if we don't get the bounce here, it just shows how weak the market is, and we're going to flush much lower. But like I said, this is where I'd expect some type of bounce just because we've hit quite a bit of large orders without a major bounce, and we were down effectively, from last night, we went from about 105 down to 98K, so a 7K dump in a very short relative amount of time. But it's not all lost. Like I said, the macro is still up. Looking to visualize the order books, like I said, we have quite a bit of support right here at 97K. Getting below that, it gets quite thin. I'll go ahead and make this smaller. There we go. So we do have quite a bit of stuff here at 97K. Underneath that, it gets very thin until we get down to the lows at 91K, where the major plunge protection is in place. So just keep that in mind. We want to see holds of this local low. We want to see some regains here, if we can get past back up into the 100K zone, because it's quite thin above us. So just keep that in mind. Looking over at the chart itself. So number one things, right? We've come down. We've now tested this kind of bigger low structure area. Or where's the level? Somewhere. Yeah, somewhere like that. So the big thing here is, yeah, this is the place where we want to see a bounce. If we don't see a bounce here, then stuff starts to look really rough as we get back towards December. December has some untested structure. It's not wildly lower, but there's a lot of heavy support from 94 all the way down to like 91K, where we expect absolute holds of lows. If we don't, we are going back to the mid 80s and possibly 70s. So for right now, we've had a local break of the trend, right? We've lost the low that matters, the previous weekly. Any bounce retest, we've got wicks on the other side that we're retesting right now. So it's very, very weak on the retest currently. If we can get some structure built and then go back towards 101.3, that previous weekly open, probably expect an immediate rejection off that little zone there is definitely like the switch. And then above that, we have the current weekly open at 102.6. These are massively required for any type of regain of level to go higher. I think if we regain the weekly and the previous weekly, I think there's a possibility that we just squeeze straight up into that weekend structure. But for right now, it looks pretty rough just because we've broken local trend. Doesn't mean we're going much lower. We did pop a new all-time high just last week. So remember, it's not the end of the world. We have tons of stuff to hold us below us. And for right now, there's no evidence of a major break in the trend. One other thing just to keep in mind as well, because these weeklies are, down here at 102.6, all of this structure above us, including the all-time high, this is all, wick structure. Big weekly distribution looking stuff. But again, the higher time frame doesn't look too rough. The daily open bad. We've retested quite a bit of things. There's a lot to do down towards 94. 94.5 is the high time frame level that we don't want to see major closes below. We can wick below it, right? We can wick to 90K or something. That's not a big deal. It's closing this on like a weekly level, losing 94.5 breaks the structure, breaks all of the upside, and then you're targeting much lower. But for the time being, it looks fine. Watch for some potential bounce play here back up to retest stuff. If you have some continuation losses here, you're going to grind right back down towards 96.5 and then 94.5. So watch the bounces. You have broken priority up. It is now priority down because you've effectively made lower highs, right? Followed by a lower low, and you have a level that you've lost, which is 101.3. Is the level that you lost that led you to this low. So this is now the key important level if you're looking on the chart for any type of regain or retest. But again, you're looking for priority down until the weekly open is gained back. That's it. Catch you tomorrow.